Welcome to Side Hustle Rules. My name is Lou Reyes, and I thought about calling this video Lou the Woodsman because once again, as I'm prone to do, I am walking in the Metro Parks. The Metro Parks is an area here in the greater Cleveland area, just outside of downtown Cleveland. I should say a few miles outside of downtown Cleveland, where I like to take long walks when I want to think about business stuff or really anything. I just want to get out in the woods and relax. But listen, I'm not going to call this video Lou the Woodsman. I'm going to call this video by its intent. And its intent is how to teach you how to overcome shyness so that you can become a great salesperson. And you know, this video, oftentimes when I shoot my videos, they're inspired by something that happened in my life, my business life, or maybe in my personal life, or certainly lots of times the videos are inspired by my interaction with one of my business clients, somebody who I'm consulting with. And this video actually was sponsored by, prompted by a person who decided they wanted to start a side hustle. We sat down together, actually over a Zoom call, and we're determining what to do, what they wanted to do. What they admitted to me was, you know, Lou, I'm pretty shy, so whatever I do, it's got to be a side hustle where I don't have to talk to people. Well, those kinds of side hustles are far and few between, because in business, to be successful, there's no question in my mind, you've got to have great communication skills, or at least good communication skills.
You learn all this complicated stuff, it's an MBA. But if you improve your communication skills, I will guarantee you that you'll earn 50% more money over your lifetime.
Brian Tracy, a person who I follow, a sales guru, business guru, says pretty much the same thing. If you want to be successful in sales, it depends upon your personality, depends on your communication skills. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some exercises in this video. I'll give you a couple examples, actually. Things that I used to overcome my inherent shyness, especially when I was just starting out in the business world. Definitely, I was the kind of guy who did not like to talk to folks. I was just a bookworm, pretty much, focusing always on reading and learning. Let me give you an example. Some things, a program that I actually sat down one day and wrote out and just followed religiously when I wanted to really become a communicator. So here's what I recommend to you to do. And I want to make one point here before we get rolling. This may not work for everyone, but it should work for most of you. And it'll work for you, I believe, if you're really dedicated to improving your skills. So let's go. Let me give you the example. You're walking, and like I'm doing today, I'm walking in the park. You're walking in the park, you walk by somebody, they happen to be, let's just say they're walking a dog. They're walking by you. Well, I would stop dead in my tracks and look at them and go, wow, that is really a beautiful dog. And more often than not, they're going to stop, or at the very least, they're going to acknowledge that and say, well, thank you. So then I say, well, what kind of a dog is that? Because I want to, number one, is I want to try to identify with them. I want to create a conversation. But I'm going to say, what kind of dog is that? And they're going to say, whatever the dog. Let's say it's a German Shepherd. So they say, yeah, this is a German Shepherd. And then what I do, I then work to identify with them by saying, you know, I had a German Shepherd once. My German Shepherd's name was Midnight. And that's actually a true story. My German Shepherd's name was Midnight. And now what I'm doing is I'm sharing with them some information about me, some personal information. So now I'm letting my guard down, at least as far as they're seeing it. I'm communicating with them. I'm telling them about me. And then I'll say, what's your dog's name? And now I've tried to build a comfort level with them. And more often than not, again, I'll say more often than not, they're going to tell you, well, my dog's name is Fido or Tommy or Sally. So then now I'll say, well, that's really a beautiful name. That's really an appropriate name. Was it named after anybody in particular? Was your dog named after anybody in particular? So now I'm developing conversation. So that's just one way of doing it. But let's say I'm going into a store, a grocery store. I'm in an aisle. I'm in the meat aisle, let's just for example. And there's somebody there who's reaching for some beef, and I'll stand there and I'll look and I'll go, can I ask you a question? What kind of, and I don't even wait for them to answer. I just say, can I ask you a question? What kind of beef do you recommend for homemade soup? Now, maybe they're going to say, you know, I don't know. But if I would say this, if they say I don't know, say, yeah, you know, I don't know either. I'm really trying to make soup like my mom used to make. And I'm really hoping I can do that. I'm sure your mom made the best soup too, didn't she? And more often than not, I keep saying more often than not, but yeah, you know what's going to happen? A lot of times what they're going to do is they're going to say, well, yeah, my mom did make some great homemade soup. So now I'm carrying on a conversation. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because one way to build your communication skills, especially if you're inherently shy, is to put yourself into a situation where you're speaking to people, talking to people in a comfortable environment. And once you do this enough times, which I recommend you do it at least once a day, maybe if you only have time to do it on the weekends, you go on the weekends and you try to, your goal will be to do it once or twice each day, Saturday and Sunday, and maybe even on a Friday evening. But you do this over time, you're gonna become more and more comfortable talking to people. So when the day comes where you need to pick up that phone and make a cold call, you'll feel comfortable enough that you can speak to somebody. And that's a whole new presentation, a sales presentation, which actually I do go over in my business training program, my side hustle training program, which is important if you're going to start a side hustle. I do have the side hustle starter kit, which you can click on a link to it. It's free, it's in the description box. But learning how to sell, learning how to communicate is probably the most vital thing that you can do. And I hope these tips help you. Well, if you do have any questions, please go ahead and send me an email, make a comment in this video's comment box. If you want to give me a call, send me an email, and I will definitely set up a time to talk, to chat. That's all I got for you today. I'm going to get back to walking here in the metro parks, and I want to say have a great day, everybody. Come on!